Brianna Rivers, that's Brionarivers, Public Information Officer, Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office.
Justin Urich, Justin, last name Jurek, Fort Bend County Fire Marshal.
Okay, can you start with what happened first from the sheriff's office perspective?
Yes, definitely. About 6:47 a.m. today, a dump truck was pulling out onto Nelson Lane. That dump truck drove in front of a train, and the train struck the dump truck. We do have one confirmed fatality at this time, and at this time we're still investigating and unable to release further details on the deceased as we wait to notify their family. What I can tell you is that on Nelson Lane there is a sign notifying drivers of a railroad crossing. However, there are no barriers, there's no stop signs or stoplights at that intersection.
Do we know if lighting was an issue at that time? Is there lighting there too, or just the sign?
That's something we're still investigating right now, the conditions of the roadway.
Now, in terms of, I'm just trying to make sure I get this correct. Was the train already out on the tracks first before the actual truck came on, or was it the other way around? They were trying to make it or beat it, or?
Well, since we weren't there when it happened, that's something as well that they're investigating right now to see exactly how that happened. But we do know that the dump truck pulled out onto the tracks in front of the train before it was struck.
Now, in terms of the fatality, are you able to tell us if it's a man, woman, age, anything of that nature?
So we're still waiting. We want to, make sure that we notify the family first. Of course, our priority right now is to be sensitive to the victim and their family. So that's pending family notification, but we do have one confirmed fatality.
But you're not able to say if it's a man or woman at least?
Not at this time, but as soon as we can provide that information, I will get you an update.
Now, is the body still here? Is the medical examiner here yet? Is the body still here?
I don't have that information for you right now, but I can get that to you later.
The fire marshal's office, if you could also talk about y'all's role in the investigation.
Yes, ma'am. This morning, Richmond Fire Department responded to an auto versus train. During their investigation and their arrival, they determined there was some fuel leaked from the truck due to the accident. They contacted our department for the hazmat, which responded to the scene. We responded and assisted with any kind of contaminants that were there from the accident, from the fuel and those items. Through our investigation, we determined there were no hazardous materials or any kind of cargo within the train that was being transported. We also provided drone coverage for the accident to help with the investigation and to locate anything that were any hazards for the investigation as well as for the fire department. Richmond Fire Department is on scene currently right now. We still are working on some small fires from the accident and stuff, from the truck being dragged across the rail, and so they are working with the rail and putting out those small spot fires throughout the accident scene.
So you mentioned there are small fires that essentially happened because of the truck being dragged. How big were these fires? How big was it?
Very small and minute. The part of the item right now is that they are the rail sits on top of creosote poles, and so it is getting in some of that creosote and creating smoke. So we're just maintaining, we're keeping it cool and making sure that those the posts that the rail sits on does not burn.
If they were small, why was there so much smoke? People reported seeing a lot of smoke in the air.
There could be different items from that occurred from the accident, from the impact, from things that occurred. I'm not sure what exactly was in the actual truck as well, so it could have been dust clouds and things with that. Then if the truck or the train had any kind of issues, I'm not sure of any conditions of the train or anything, but with the rock and everything and that being drugged could create some dust clouds as well.
Once it's clear, I guess the fire spots, if you will, are contained, what is the fire marshal's role next in the investigation?
Our role will be complete once we determine there's no hazards on location. Everything else will be handled by the sheriff's office as far as the accident investigation. The fire marshal's office main role here is just to assist the fire department with any kind of hazards that are affiliated with the accident.
Now, for the sheriff's office, what's next in the investigation in terms of figuring out the cause? Does the railroad play into all of this? Have you guys been in touch with them at all?
So our investigators are working right now to find out exactly what happened. Like I said, the conditions of the roadway, what was going on at 6:47 a.m. this morning when that dump truck was crossing those railroad tracks. So we'll be working to piece together that information and hopefully provide some more answers for you all soon. I I do want to say that the railway, they do have a cleanup crew headed to the site right now and their own investigators, and I do have contact information for them that I can share with you all once we wrap up here.
Okay. So y'all been in contact with them.
Yes, with BNSF Railway. Yes.
Is there construction going on the other side of the rail? Kind of when I passed by, I saw dump trucks on the other side. Can you explain a little bit about what's on the other side?
No, I don't believe there's any construction going on the other side.
And to y'all, both of your knowledge, in terms of this accident, you mentioned you all are trying to investigate the conditions of that area too. You know, whether the driver missed the sign, we don't know. All things that will be looked at. Has that area been problematic before? Or is this one of the first situations in a while that y'all dealt with in terms of this magnitude?
I don't have that information readily available in terms of past accidents that may have occurred at this intersection. But we are looking into it. We're doing everything that we can to figure out what happened. And again, you know, our number one priority right now is the victim. So I think that that's all the information we have to provide at this time.
One additional thing, the railroad is closed down at this time for the investigation. Emergency crews first arriving did shut the railway down for safety for crews that are working out here. And then if you have any more questions related to the railway, we ask you to contact BNSF, and we can provide you all that information for their statements.
It's bnsfmedia@bnsf.com.
I'll get that from you after, but I was going to say, what stretches actually shut down? Is there like a stretch from a street to street?
Is there any other intersections that are affected?
Yeah.
No.
Like,
So currently, right now, there are no other intersections affected besides where the actual impact occurred at, the actual accident occurred at. Besides that, there are no other intersections that are affected that are shut down.
So is Nelson and what other road that's shut down now? Or like where the railway is?
Just Nelson intersection there.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we know if the rail hands was down?
As I mentioned, there are no barriers at that intersection. There are no barriers at Nelson Lane.
And we don't know why they don't have any there, or
Well, no, not at this time. No.
We'll take one more question and we'll wrap up. Was the victim part of the crew that was working in that area? Or was it just
The victim was inside the truck, so
Okay.
yes.
and why was he there? Was he heading to that?
We don't know where they were heading, so we're working to investigate that information, and once we are able to release identification, we will.
Okay. Can one of you two just give me a little summary? I came in a little bit late.
Yes, so I was just saying at about 6:47 a.m., a dump truck pulled out onto Nelson Lane as a train was crossing, and that dump truck was struck by the train at the time. So we do have one confirmed fatality, and our investigators are working to piece together the details now. Okay. All right.
all right, thank you.
Thank you all.